You actually watched this? Yeah, I was curious why it was getting shredded so much. I couldn't imagine it actually being that bad. And like I said, objectively it's not horrible, but it's just a complete waste of time. There's no reason to see this movie. It's just this amalgamation, this fucking chimera of Disney greatness from the past thrown in here really shittily. Thanks to the resub Kane. Nah, I'm not gonna moist meter Napoleon. I do want to talk about Wish though. Give me 2 seconds. I just gotta tinkle real quick, and then I want to talk about this because I just saw it. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. Yeah, we talked about Josh Giddey stuff a lot already. Every topic that's come up over the last 48 hours, just work under the assumption I've already talked about it a lot. Thanks to resub Abby and the Prime Roggy. Happy birthday. Alright. I wanna go into Wish spoilers. I wasn't really interested in seeing it, but after all of the reviews and everything, and somehow it got shredded by most people, which I would have never expected from like a pretty safe Disney animation, I got curious if it's actually bad. So right now it has, I think, the lowest Disney animation opening rating on Rotten Tomatoes ever or something. And I just saw it. And it's not bad, but I see why no one really likes it. It's really, really painfully generic. It is legitimately just a full-blown marketing campaign that could have been used as like a commercial, but stretched to a feature-length film. I don't understand why they'd even make it. It doesn't really make sense. They took every element of good Disney animations and like roped it into this haphazardly. And it has like the worst ending in any Disney animated movie I've seen in a minute. The ending is terrible. The ending is so bad. I just don't get why they even bothered with this. They didn't really have a story to tell. Like, the movie's just over an hour, I think. Actually, how long is it? Let me check the runtime. It felt like it'd only been like 20 minutes and we had reached the conclusion. Because it's just a speed run of all the same Disney tropes we've seen a million fucking times. It's an hour 35. It literally felt like a 35-minute movie, which is nice. It didn't drag. And I'm not sure Niall would have to think about that. Spoil it, we don't give a shit about seeing it. They just really... There's no reason to really... I'll talk about the ending a little bit, I guess. I'll save that for a minute. But even spoiling it, it doesn't really do much. Basically, the concept of the film is fine. Like, the concept is interesting enough. There's a powerful sorcerer, and he takes people's wishes. He's made, like, this utopia kingdom. They give him his wishes to gives him their wishes for safekeeping, and then he'll occasionally grant them. And the big plot twist, well, it's not a big plot twist, it's actually established within the first 10 minutes of the film. Turns out he's not a great guy. Who could have seen it coming? He takes their wishes because he wants to ensure that they're not going to be a danger to his kingdom. So what he does is he takes all of these wishes and he only grants the safest ones. Like the most throwaway safe wishes. And I watched a review from Jeremy on it, because I'll sometimes check out other reviewers to see like what are their feelings on it. And Jeremy made a really interesting point that the film itself unintentionally serves as an allegory for modern Disney, where all of these fans have all of these wishes and expectations that they'd love to see Disney act on, and Disney doesn't. Instead, they just grant you the safest, most insignificant garbage content, like the safest shit. And I was like, damn, that's actually kind of profound. Like, this movie really is an allegory for how Disney handles what the fans want. Yeah, Jeremy Jans. Is it Johns or Jans? I really like his reviews. I think he does a good job. It's very concise, it's fun. But I never know if it's Jeremy Johns or Jans. Oh, thanks for the 10 gifted members, Rule 34. Appreciate that. It's Johns. Nice. Thanks for the resub, Levi. So yeah, again, there's really nothing... Like, there's nothing objectively horrible about the film. It's just so derivative of every other Disney film ever made. You just get nothing out of it. Like, even the musical numbers are pretty uninspired. There's only one that stood out to me as being pretty good, and it's the second song in the film. Like, the second song is the only one that I was like, oh, that's kind of a banger. Everything else, I feel like no one would ever go out of their way to listen to ever again on purpose. They're just so bland. And every side character in this is completely forgettable that serves no purpose. And really, even the main character herself doesn't do anything. She does the most important thing, which is making a wish of her own on a star, which is why you get Luma here. But outside of that, she does nothing. The star does everything until the end of the movie, where it just completely blows its ass wide open with nonsense. Thanks to the Prime Tigu. I'm not sure, Logan. It really just depends on what the material is. There's been a trend on TikTok to compare it to older Disney movies and their music to show how generic it is. Oh, I believe it. Because it is painfully generic. Thanks to Resub Retribution. A lot of Disney fans on TikTok really don't like the music. Some of them even accuse Disney of using AI to make them. I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, this feels so derivative of everything good from Disney movies of the past tried to, like, make something new out of. Like, it does feel like you would plug all of this into ChatGPT and have it spit out a script. It's uninspired. The jokes in it, like, I don't even know if you could classify them as jokes. They barely even try in that department. There's nothing. It has nothing. But the thing is, like, it's not a bad movie per se, I suppose. It's just so uninteresting, so forgettable, and just nothing. I just don't know why they'd even bother with it. No, it's just boring. Like, it's not fun bad or anything. It is just a boring movie. Like, it has nothing to it. There's no meat on its bones. I'll talk about the ending real quick, I guess, because the ending really is like the most egregious, like, hey, let's just wrap this shit up and be done, okay? So basically what happens at the end... Okay, big spoiler warning if anyone gives a fuck. Huge spoiler warning. Sound the alarms. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. Big spoilers. At the very end, it's the final showdown between the main character and the main bad guy. And he's this all-powerful sorcerer. Our main character, she doesn't have any powers of her own. Like I said, she herself doesn't really do anything aside from summon Luma, who does everything. It's character's not actually named Luma, it's Star, but it's basically like Rosa and Luma. And he captures Star, and everything looks lost, because it is. He is now all-powerful, all undefeatable, just this fucking monster now. And the way they defeat him is she starts singing a song. So then every citizen of the kingdom joins in the musical number, and he's already, like, bound them. And they all just start singing, and basically it's the power of their wishes was so great that Star broke free and he got caught in his own staff. Somehow. It's really fucking dumb. So they unionized. I mean, I guess. Yeah, kinda. But he's defeated through the power of song and everyone wanting to make wishes. But I don't, like, there's no reason that should have beat him at all. Like, it shouldn't, he should have just listened to that and been like, alright, can you stop wishing? This is fucking cringe. And then he just starts blasting them all again. Like, there's no reason it should have done shit to him. Doesn't the main character become a fairy godmother? kind of, but until then, she doesn't do anything. And even after that, they don't show her doing anything. Thanks to the resub rain. It really is mainly Star that does mostly everything. She is the most important character because she summons Star, but then it's Star accomplishing all of the tasks. You actually watched this? Yeah, I was curious why it was getting shredded so much. I couldn't imagine it actually being that bad. And like I said, objectively, it's not horrible, but it's just a complete waste of time. There's no reason to see this movie. It's just this amalgamation, this fucking chimera of Disney greatness from the past thrown in here really shittily. People were shitting on the ending because they tried to canonize every Disney movie. There's plenty of things you can shit on it for. There really is. There's actually someone I've seen that says Chicken Little is the worst Disney movie. Well, I'm wishing you the best of luck with it, Logan. I don't have any advice, though. It's not great, but it's not the worst. Oh, you must be talking about Chicken Little. What is the best Disney movie? It's probably still The Incredibles for me. And yeah, I saw the headline for that, Jose. I haven't looked into it yet, though. Wish was meant to incorporate 3D and 2D animation, but this was cut in favor of just 3D. I don't know if I believe that. This feels like it was just designed to be a throwaway. Like, they didn't advertise it first and foremost. Like, I feel like most people didn't even know this thing fucking existed. And secondly, after watching it, there is legitimately no real effort into trying to tell a story. Like, I don't think this is something they really cared much about. I only knew it existed because it was bad. Yeah, I feel like that's probably the only reason people are even seeing its name is because of how hard it's getting blasted. Rather fucking annihilated like Morbius or something, but it kind of is like Disney Animation's Morbius. Hey, hope you feel better soon, Tactus. The budget for the movie was pretty big at 200 mil. Oof. Oh, sweet. Well, thank you for that, Logan. Agreed with that, Hero. That's a classic. Disney's just tanking all over. Disney's had a rough year. In terms of, like, the reception to their work. Financially speaking, I don't know how they're faring, but the reception to a lot of the Disney work this year has been rough. Any developments in D-Brand versus Casetify? Well, not yet. It's way too early for anything crazy to happen there. That'll be a little bit. There's an old concept art for Wish where the king and queen were the lead's parents and also both evil, which would have been better. It would have been better, yeah. That would have definitely been better. No, I didn't see that, Austin. Do you feel like it's harder to make intriguing new stories for films nowadays, and that's why a lot of the stuff is bland? No, not at all. The reason so many things are bland is because it's safer. Everything costs more to make, games, movies, whatever. You have to play it safe for your investment, so you try and deliver on what you think people will want based on what they've wanted in the past. That's my explanation for why I think everything's kind of been a little more derivative recently. But that's not an absolute. There's been some incredibly creative projects this year alone. But on the whole, I feel like that's why so many things kind of follow the same formula. That'd be a great remake, Caitlin, for sure. And hopefully soon, Jamie. It's not up to me. Thanks, Zim. I haven't seen the new episode there, King. I'll take your word for it, though. And I'm not sure, Michael. I think it's also laziness because people will see it anyway. Laziness probably also plays a bit of a role in the decision-making process for something like Wish. Like I said, they barely advertised it. I think they just knew people will probably see it just because it's Disney. And I have no doubt when it hits Disney Plus, kids are probably just going to have this shit on loop for some reason because kids will watch actually anything that has noise. It's why if you looked up, what is it, the top 10... like, what was the list we looked up not too long ago? We even did it on the podcast. It's like the top 10 or top 20 biggest movies ever, and like 14 of them are Disney movies, all because they're on Disney Plus.